I'm going to give some more on this matter of the human spirit eternal. Eternal sonship proof. Reading out of the book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 28. For in him we live and move and have our being, as certain also of your own poets have said, for we are also his offspring. Now note, Paul was addressing so-called pagans. He's the Areopagus in Mars Hill in Greece. He's trying to get these pagans, these Gentiles, to understand their eternal sonship, that God's their Father. This text was something that came out in this series before, but now ask yourself this question. Can you imagine saying this today to the religious crowd, that all, Jew and Gentile, are the offspring of God? They will fight you on this. They'll deny it. Do we get labeled a universalist, which you will, an inclusionist, a Gnostic, or New Age, and many, many other labels? Yet the Apostle Paul said this to pagan Greece, saying that day that he was revealing the unknown God, the God of us all. And to think that I get attacked for saying that God is our eternal Father, the Father of us all, unaware. And if you don't come to discover this eternal fact and call another individual Father, which is what this matter of this iniquity of parents visiting the third, fourth generation is saying. That is, until someone wakes up to who their true father always was. If you don't come to understand this, then one day he that was your father will have to say to you, depart from me, you who worked iniquity. I never knew you. That's the iniquity of parents, in third and fourth generation. I asked yourself, how could he say this? The same expression is also expressed this way in the Bible. Matthew 7:23. And then will I profess unto them. The word profess in the Greek comes out and says, I will say the same thing to you. You're not my father. He'll say, then you're not my son. And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work the iniquity of the parents. I will profess that which you have professed. In other words, I will give you what you desired, and I will blot out your name from the Lamb's book of life, the book of the living, the book of remembrance. And when he does this, he erases you out of his eternal mind. Hear that? He erases you out of his eternal mind and can honestly say, I never knew you. For those that embrace him as their eternal Father, the reversal occurs. The memory of this fallen life, this flesh, is erased and never called to mind again. This mind of your eternal spirit is restored to full memory. That now we are getting glimpses of seeing past the fleshly reflective mirror, the guy in the mirror, the fleshly image, and see our true self on the other side of this mirror. This is written for us all to know. 1 Corinthians 13:12. For now we see through a glass, a mirror, darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part. That's the wean. The Holy Spirit works it out, replaces, empties the cup, and refills it up with things out of your human spirit in partnership with the Holy Spirit, things coming from your Father, bringing you back to your memory. For we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. You're known after the image God has of you, not this image you acquired through the flesh, of race, culture, secular, religious creed, or opinion of a male or female. Psalm 82. They know not, neither will they understand. They walk in the darkness. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. I have said, ye are gods, and all your children are of the Most High. Hear that? All your children are of the Most High. But you shall die like men, and fall like one of the princes. Now, I have dealt with these two verses along with many other biblical texts and other videos, but here they drive home the importance of coming to know that God is your eternal Father. And no man or an individual was ever to be known as your Father. You already had one. Yet unaware, simply because you were born many times to parents equally unaware, to which Jesus would say, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. My God, we don't know. Yet then again, today we would be considered those that are without excuse. This mystery being revealed some 2,000 years ago on the very cross that the Son of God, in the mode of a Son of Man, Jesus, revealed this. As we have seen in this series of videos, that only is sharing what my Father has told me and others. We all could come to know this. It's not Gnostic teaching. This eternal fact is there for the asking, and by asking, I don't mean asking those who either don't know or know what has been shared here, have rejected it, going with their handed-down secular or self-willed religious opinions from what they call their fathers of their nation or their fathers of their so-called faith. I have shared how this faith is the faith of the Son of God, and it is not the so-called faith of any other man or woman proclaiming some particular denomination that we see today. They claim a form of it and can point to the past of some who very well may or may not have heard from our eternal Father, and many times this faith of theirs carries some seen idea of faith, and not the real definition of faith being the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. It has been revealed to me and others that the source of what we must, let me read that again. As it has been revealed to me and others that the source of what we receive must originate from our Father, which the Old Testament, along with the New Testament, verifies, as it has been pointed out by this vessel and others, that we need not that any man teach us, because the mind of Christ in our awakened human spirit, in partnership with the Holy Spirit, would point us to our true teacher, God our Father. Yes, we may have tutors and so-called guides, but a true tutor, guide, or even teacher will lead you to your Father for the final word on this matter. I will explain this fact from what I've gotten from our Father in my next video that will follow this one. You will find it on my playlist in this series when I get it posted. Is the human spirit eternal? Under this title, the final word must come from God your Father. Well, that's just a brief introduction to this next video that's coming. See this fact. God is the eternal Father. God bless you.